All right, y'all. Welcome to video number 49. Um, sort of rocking some scruff today, last couple days. We're going to be talking about the Garden of Eden and the trees again. Jordan Peterson here, lecture one came out on Maps and Meaning for his academy, and I watched it, and immediately this struck me. And I'm like, he's talking about something that I haven't fully elucidated. Again, this is not an entertainment channel. I'm not here to entertain you. Just here laying out ideas, see if they resonate. That's it, folks. Not a content creator. Please. And I'm not trying to convince you that I know anything or to follow me or that your faith is something. I am just trying to figure it out, my friends. Been getting a lot of strange comments lately, but as we all know, people are starting to get in the feels a little bit. So I don't blame them, and I have no hate for anybody, but I understand that I am playing in some areas where folks are real sensitive. So if Garden of Eden is a sensitive area for you, you probably don't want to watch, because my interpretation is going to be very different. Jordan Peterson, obviously, his interpretation is very different. Me and him both take a very psychological approach. I happen to add a lot of metaphysics onto it. I think it is the most important question in the Bible. Do we belong here? You have a lot of folks that say, this is a soul trap, or this is some sort of simulation, or, we're in some place where it's a testing ground and we're just passing through. All sorts of theories out there. We live in a creation and we're the playthings of the gods. Lots of folks got lots of ideas. And the Garden of Eden and the Tree of Knowledge and the Tree of Life are metaphysical questions to help us figure out whether or not we're meant to be here, on all those different levels. And so it could be looked at many different ways. That's what makes it great writing. The fact that there are so many different interpretations. And here he's going to lay out something that, like I said, I haven't elucidated. I haven't spoken about. I know it's true. And it's part of what I said. I mean, I literally just talked about the two trees in the last video. And I'll reiterate what I said, because this actually helps flesh out even more what I'm trying to say about the two trees. So let's go ahead and watch them. I forget where I'm supposed to stop, but it is what it is.
Can we create our own values? Try it and see. So that was Eve's temptation, which is a story we'll get back to. Right in the Garden of Eden, God tells man and woman that they have full freedom to explore and use, except they're forbidden to incorporate the fruit of the knowledge of good and evil, right? The fruit of the knowledge of good and evil is the essence of the world of value. Eve falls prey to the temptation to make herself like God by creating the world of value that surrounds her. And as that story was elaborated across the centuries, the spirit that tempted Eve to rebel against the intrinsic moral order and to establish her own was associated with Lucifer, who's the spirit of the overweening and prideful intellect, whose fundamental motivation is to usurp. Right. Follow the moral order. Find the moral order. Abide by the moral order. Do not create the moral order. Right? That's the fall. Pride goes before a fall. The fall. Garden chaos, reintegration.
Exactly.
That's the
Okay.
biblical story. That's
All right. That's good enough right there. It's this moral order that he's talking about. This, can you create your moral order? And how he's saying that the tree of knowledge is the essence of value, defining what values are. So, is there an intrinsic set of morals in the garden? I'm going to say no. It's paradise. It's unreal. It is not this place. And as many people have discussed, the reason why the tree of knowledge and the tree of life are there is because they're meant to be used. I forget what it's called, but if you're writing a story and you put a gun on the wall, you have to use it by the end of the first act. This is just the way it is. So they were placed there for a reason. Now, as I was discussing in the last video, fruit is the reproductive organ, parts, pieces, whatever, of a tree, which means they are that which creates something new. They're not what defines the material. That is not what fruit is. They are the bringing of something new. So what is new? What is the generation? What is the creation through life? It's intuition. Intuition is the ability to reach into the unknown and bring something new into being. This is the feminine power of creation. And the tree of knowledge, to take that which is known, to take knowledge, and to create something new, is imagination. It's intuition and imagination that make you a creator. And once you're a creator, you are no longer the creation. You can no longer be kept. He's right. Once you fall from being kept, immediately the Bible tells you you now have to work and all these sort of things and labor pains and all these other things that it writes about. What's it really saying is now that you are the creator, or as I would say, and I think the Bible even really implies, you are now the co-creator through the use of your imagination and your intuition and the law of nature. You now have to work to survive because you are no longer kept. You are no longer a child. You are now creating new life. That's what the story means. So from the Gnostic Vedanta perspective, this is the power of the human being to become the co-creator. And we're meant to be here. We didn't fall. We're following the path that we were meant to follow when we were ready. And I mentioned it years ago in other videos. The Hebrew version, Eve says, the saying is that she was sold something on credit, meaning that she bought something that she wasn't ready for, implying that she wasn't ready for this role as a creator, this role as a full-fledged human being. So to flesh this out even more, do we make our own morals? Absolutely we do. Ethics is a different story. Morals are the rules that we use to get along with one another. Now, will we have to make our own once you're no longer cared for? Yes, he's right. Once you fall and become the creator, you now are responsible for generating all those things because you're no longer being taken care of. That's what the story means. So do we belong here? Absolutely. It's the reason why the trees were put there. When the time was right and we were ready, humanity's supposed to step on their own. But here's something else I want to add. Not just this reminder that it's a little bit, there's a responsibility that comes with this. That's what he's talking about. Now, he's saying that you shouldn't do that, and I disagree. I think the Bible is very clear. There's a responsibility that comes with being a co-creator. But here's the other thing. Let's reverse this. What do you think happens if you stop using your imagination and your intuition? What do you think happens? Here we are in this place where you need those tools. This is the place of those tools. You think that's what's happening now? Because if you are not a co-creator of the world, you are a kept being. And hopefully you're kept in paradise. One would hope. So that's the food for thought from this video today. What happens once you surrender imagination and intuition? And remember, we are responsible once you take hold of those two powers to create something new. That's what fruit is. We are here to create something new. So what happens when we stop doing that? Until then, my friends, I will see you on the next one.